Hello, and welcome to another episode of Child Abuse and Awareness. Please like, subscribe, and share. I always like to start off with a Bible verse, Matthew 18, verse 6. But whoso shall offend one of these little ones which believe in me, it were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck, and that he were drowned in the depths of the sea. Then in Matthew 18, verse 10, take heed that ye despise not one of these little ones which believe in me. For I say unto you that in heaven their angels do always behold the face of my Father which is in heaven. Amen. I want to warn everybody it's going to be trigger warnings. Under the copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. I hope everyone's having a good day. I will put it at the bottom of here to remember trigger warning. Okay? Hello there, Jackie. Good to see you too. Thanks for being here. And if anybody is watching from Facebook, note that they can go ahead. I put the link in the description on my Facebook where you can click and go over here because I cannot see the comments if whatever you write at Facebook at the moment. The only way I can see them is if you come and post them here. And it's so good to see you, Jackie. Really love you being here. Thank you so much. So today we're going over the story. We have went over this after this happened, and then we got an update about it as well. This is where, so I'm going to take you all over from the beginning to what's been found, all right? And Ann C. Jordan, daycare worker from Bellevue, Tennessee, where she ran an illegal daycare center, and then the update, as I said here. Without further ado, I will start out. I would have to change out the audio first, so you will not be able to hear me because I've got to present the video that's at that website first. So please bear with me.
Three-month-old baby was found dead Monday afternoon at the apartment of his daycare provider. Metro police are still trying to piece together the details of a pretty complex situation.
Brianna Hamblin joins us now from MMPD headquarters. Brianna, who was the woman who was supposed to be watching this child?
Ben and Amy, she was 51-year-old Ann Jordan, and she was found about 4 miles away in a park with significant cuts to her arms. But police say that these cuts were self-inflicted. Police say the baby's mother and another parent found the baby dead at Jordan's apartment at the Havana Lexington complex on Old Hickory Boulevard in Bellevue. 6 other children were also found alone inside. All are said to be okay. Doctors at Vanderbilt Children's Hospital say there were no obvious signs of traumatic injury or medical issues on the 3-month-old and don't know exactly how the baby died yet. Hikers spotted Jordan Monday at Harpeth River State Park, and police say her car was there too. That car is being searched, and detectives have tried interviewing Jordan at the hospital where she is being treated. This is an ongoing investigation, so we will update the story as we learn more.
Three-month-old baby was found
Stay comfortable and relaxed this July. Hiller is keeping you chillin' all summer with free outdoor gear. When you upgrade your home's essential systems, we're giving away free Yeti camping chairs, coolers, backpacks, and more with the purchase of select new HVAC systems, whole home generators, and tankless water heaters. Stay chillin' all summer long. Book your appointment at happyhiller.com today. Happy you'll be, or the service is free.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Mom found her 3-month-old son dead at a Bellevue daycare, and within the last hour, WSMV4 confirmed a woman was running it illegally. Metro Police say the woman was found hours later at Harpeth River State Park with self-inflicted wounds. Our Marissa Sulik has new details from sources close to this investigation. Marissa, this is an awful story that you can continue to follow for us here.
It is terrible, Lauren. And those sources say Ann Jordan was operating an illegal daycare. She didn't have a license and was caring for 7 kids that were not her own. And I spoke with a woman who saw parents running Monday afternoon to make sure their kids were alive.
The Ivana Lexington Apartments is where Charlene Wagner lives, and Monday afternoon she saw a scene she will never forget.
And there was about 4 cop cars. We weren't exactly sure what was happening.
Moments later, she says she saw people and babies sobbing.
And then I saw parents coming down the stairs, like rushing down the stairs, holding their baby, and they were crying. And then I remember seeing a man get out of his car and just run up the stairs. I mean, it was missing 2 or 3 steps at a time just to get up there. And he came down with his child, but it was just like, you could see the fear in these parents' faces.
Metro Police say Ann Jordan was watching 7 kids under 16 months. They say 6 kids are okay, but 1 baby died. Police say there were no obvious injuries or medical issues.
It's just devastating. I mean, in anything, like even if an accident or, I mean, my first thought was maybe something, just the baby died and she freaked out and got scared and ran, but you don't know, only she knows.
Right now, Youth Services is investigating, and Metro Police detectives will interview Jordan, but all Wagner can picture is what happened behind these walls days ago.
Just thinking of babies sitting there in their diapers and screaming.
Now, DCS is also investigating the abuse and neglect in this case. Marius.
Well, Marissa, keep asking questions about this one, and I know you will.
Shaylin,
Yes. What do you think is going to happen?
So it's still, like you said, it's still a little early to tell, but
bought her dream motorcycle,
looks like
and she can't wait.
Dead inside a West Nashville apartment operating as a daycare. Tonight, we're learning more about what happened. Welcome to News 2 at 4. I'm Mark Kelly. Andy Cordan has been investigating and joins us with the very latest. Andy?
Hey there, Mark. A 3-month-old died. The cause, well, it's still not known. Now, 6 other children were found alive, but they were unattended in this small Bellevue apartment, which was operating as a non-licensed daycare.
Friday morning, flowers are found outside apartment 1509, a memorial to the tragedy that took place behind this door. According to Metro Police, it's here on April 10th that a 3-month-old little boy is found unresponsive. He will later be pronounced dead at the hospital. The baby's cause of death is still unknown, pending a toxicology report. According to investigators, 6 other babies, ranging in ages from 2 months to 1.5 years old, are also found here alone. Thankfully, they are alive.
Sources close to the investigation tell me that on April 10th, around 3:26 p.m., 2 parents, after making multiple text messages that were not responded by Ann C. Jordan, finally came to apartment 1509. This is where the daycare was run. The mother of the 3-month-old who passed away and another father of another child made entry. I am told by sources they found 7 children inside the apartment, some in the front room, some in the back room. The children had dirty diapers. When they went and found the 3-month-old, the child was on the bed. It was unresponsive. Apparently, they called 911 and began CPR.
According to Metro Police, hours later, hikers will find the children's babysitter, Ann C. Jordan, at a state park in Cheatham County. Metro Police now confirmed to News 2, investigators have interviewed the 51-year-old at the hospital. The unlicensed daycare operator reportedly said she had put the 3-month-old down for a nap. 20 minutes later, she finds the child non-responsive. Jordan will tell police that she attempts CPR. When that fails, rather than call 911, she leaves the apartment, later attempting suicide at a state park in Cheatham County, some 20 miles away. Police say she left the apartment around 2 p.m., which is about 90 minutes before the parents arrive and make their terrible discovery.
And a source tells me that nothing of consequence was found in Jordan's car at that state park. There was no written note, just some medication. So far, Ann Jordan is not under arrest, but Metro Police do tell me that they will be actively discussing this case with the DA's office throughout the coming weeks. Back to you.
All right, Andy.
Parents with children at an illegal Bellevue daycare reached out to WSMV4 asking why the woman running it still hasn't been charged.
Good question. A month ago, a 3-month-old baby was found dead inside an apartment. 6 babies were left alone. Metro Police say the caregiver was later spotted at a nearby state park with self-inflicted wounds.
Our Marissa Sulik found that caregiver, who is now speaking out for the first time in a Facebook post since that baby's death.
This is a Facebook post made by Annie Clark, who friends say also goes by Ann Jordan. It's the first public statement she made after a parent found their baby boy dead in this apartment last month. In the post, she says, "Hi, I don't know if it's the right time to surface or not, but after opening up Messenger and Instagram the other day, I felt compelled to do this sooner than I expected." She later says, "It's hard losing your career you worked so hard to build and took such pride in, and it's hard to start over at 51. At the end, she finishes by saying, "I'm sorry for the worry I've caused folks."
Anyone who's under investigation for possible homicide is foolish to put a Facebook post up.
We asked defense attorney David Rabin if Jordan is out and about and can write this, why hasn't she been charged with at least neglect for the 6 kids she left alone?
It would look terrible if they charged the person with homicide, turned out it was sudden infant death syndrome or something like that. It could contaminate the entire case.
That's why he says the district attorney and Metro Nashville police are waiting for the 3-month-old's autopsy.
That's exactly what the DA needs and the police need to pinpoint exactly why did this child die. It's easy to say, oh, the child was neglected, and that's terrible, and it certainly is a crime. But to charge the caregiver with child neglect would precipitate a relatively low bond.
Sources tell us Jordan is currently at an outpatient facility.
This is devastating, y'all. I just wanted to try to bring y'all at the part. There's more we got to read here. This was actually his first day at the home Nashville Daycare Center. The first day, and he ended up deceased. It's hard enough for a parent to trust anybody, take care of your child. Can y'all hear me okay? Is my sound, sure my sound's going okay. So West Tennessee Nashville at-home daycare operator is sitting in Davidson County Jail after leaving 6 babies unattended after the 6 counts of child neglect, but there could be more charges after a 3-month-old baby was also found dead under her watch the same day. This right here was written July the 1st of this year, okay? A friend of the 3-month-old's parents said it was a baby's first day at Jordan's at-home daycare in her apartment off of Old Hickory Boulevard. The friend said the parents chose Jordan's apartment as a temporary solution until they found a reputable licensed daycare to send the baby to. So it was going to be temporary. Thank you so much, Jackie. I appreciate you answering me. They say she came recommended by another friend who used her briefly until a spot opened somewhere else. The Tennessee Department of Human Services said the mom of the 3-month-old got to Jordan's apartment the afternoon of April the 10th and knocked on the door. Another parent came to pick up their kid, and they both found the door to Jordan's apartment unlocked. Imagine, I'm glad she left it unlocked so the parents could get their children, get to them, and take proper care. But you know how anybody could even went inside the apartment? All these people that looked for kids. Y'all know what I'm saying? That put them in bad trouble, dangerous situations there. Plus, you don't leave little infants alone. They need the care. What about the ones that were still alive? You just run off and leave them without any kind of care whatsoever? DHS documents said the parents went inside and found the baby cold to the touch in Jordan's bed. See, she didn't even call 911. Metro Nashville Police Department said earlier Jordan found the baby unconscious in a bassinet, attempted CPR, and was unsuccessful, so she fled and attempted suicide. And all she got is 6 counts of child neglect, okay? And so, if she would not have left them other kids, she might even not even have those 6 charges against her, right? She might have been fined for having an illegal daycare business. The friend said the parents, okay, we got that. We said all that right there. And then Metro Nashville Police Department said earlier Jordan found the baby unconscious in a bassinet, attempted CPR, and was unsuccessful, so she fled and attempted suicide. Why did you not call 911? If you worked that hard to try to get, you worked there at Facebook and saying things like, oh, but look what it did to my career. What it did to my devastated career. I worked so hard for this. But you worked so hard for this, why were you going to let it get tarnished by not going ahead and maybe getting a license? The license would have really helped. I would say you worked hard for that if you got a license. And you do not leave the other kids unsupervised. So now you got the charges about the neglect for the other 6 kids. Exactly. So she don't even have any charges against her for, the other child, okay? Because they were waiting for the pending investigation of the autopsy results. And see, that's where she was arrested after baby found dead, 6 others left alone. Was basically the same thing. Now, it didn't look like, here's what some of the people said, and this is at Law and Crime, we give them the credit. And this was written July the 5th of this year. Somebody said it didn't look like kids had played there. Woman who tried to kill herself arrested after 3-month-old boy dies in unlicensed apartment-based daycare. There's the lady right here. Nancy Jordan appears in a mugshot for June 2023. A Tennessee woman is facing multiple charges after a 3-month-old baby boy died under still mysterious circumstances at her apartment-based daycare earlier this year. Nancy Jordan, she's 51, arrested last week on 6 counts of child neglect over the underlying incidents in which the infant died. Which one infant died, not that one. The Metropolitan Nashville Police Department announced in a press release. In addition to the boy's death, 6 other children were left unattended on the day in question, police allege. The children left alone in Jordan's West Nashville apartment on April the 10th were of various ages, police said, but none older than 16 months. See that? 7 babies under 16 months old. The discoveries of the dead child and the others left to fend for themselves were made by the mother of the deceased and another child's parent, police said. She is currently being held on $30,000 bond at the Correctional Development Center, according to jail records reviewed by Law and Crime. Still, however, the boy's death is unaccounted for. The 6 children were determined to be in good health, the MN Police Department said. Medical staff at Vanderbilt Children's Hospital reported that the deceased child did not have any obvious sign of traumatic injury or medical issues. The investigation into the death remains open, with final autopsy and toxicology results pending. In late April, Jordan said she found the 3-month-old unconscious in a bassinet and attempted CPR, police told local NBC affiliate WSMV. After those resuscitation efforts failed, she fled the scene and tried to kill herself, the defendant allegedly told law enforcement. 2 parents arrived later that day to find the child dead and the apartment empty, reportedly banging on Jordan's door for nearly 15 minutes before they were able to gain entry by just walking inside because they found the door was unlocked, the TV station reported, citing a complaint filed with the Tennessee Department of Human Services. The deceased child was reportedly cold to the touch and not breathing. Can you imagine going into an apartment and seeing that? Can you imagine the horror of that? Maybe the baby did just die, but how she did they run it? Exactly. Maybe it did just die. She's not licensed. But, that still don't make sense for her, saying that she's got the training and know-how, and she don't think it's fair for her to lose her credibility about watching kids, basically, is what she was saying. Excuse me, look at all the credibility you swept it under the rug. You abandoned all 6 of these infants. You did not call when you could not resuscitate them. They might have been able to find out and do something. You know what I'm saying? How long did you wait and leave the baby in that room before you went and even checked on him? How long was it that you left him unattended? A neighbor described the devastating scene outside of Vanna Lexington's apartments after the horrific news spread. I saw parents coming down the stairs, like rushing down the stairs, holding their babies, and they were crying, Charlene Wagner told WSMV. And I remember seeing a man get out of his car and just run up the stairs. I mean, he was missing 2 or 3 steps at a time just to get up there. And he came down with his child, but it's just like you can see the fear in these parents' faces. Jordan was eventually found some 20 miles west by hikers in Harpeth River City State Park that same night. They said in an initial press release. The defendant was suffering from significant lacerations, apparently self-inflicted, to her arms. As it turned out, Jordan was allegedly operating a daycare center without a license. That discovery led the TDHS to obtain a temporary restraining order, barring her from operating such a business. See, if she would have been innocent of what she worked for, yeah, do the right thing. Call for help. At least the thing about it is, yeah, you would have lost your license livelihood, but why didn't you just, you would have not been able to do it, but you going like that and running, they might have given you a fair chance to, would you do the right thing? Like, I'm trying to get my license, I'm trying to do this. But why would you say, I worked so hard to get to where I am with this business? I don't think you worked so hard if you never got a license. That's the way I look at it. Yeah, that's got to be excruciating. You go in there and you go in there to check on your kid and you find your kid deceased. And this was the first day that you trusted this daycare worker, this person in their home. It's the first day. In the aftermath of the boy's death, Well, right here it said WSMV spoke with parents who said they had either used or considered using Jordan's services. According to one parent, her children would come home starving, bleeding for diaper rashes, and smelling of feces. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. Wow. Wow. The parent said she had considered going to police about the treatment of her children, but didn't feel like she had enough evidence. Bleeding, diaper rashes, and being hungry, you take them to the hospital, and I think that would have been evidence enough. I would think, you know. I was terrified, the mother said. You just wish your gut feeling is right all the time, and mine was absolutely right, just noticing all the red flags. One potential customer said the apartment in Nashville's Bellevue neighborhood simply looked too clean. I didn't get any red flags when I talked with her per se. It was mostly her apartment, the parent told the TV station. Whenever I walked in, I noticed she had a glass coffee table, and there was a bunch of breakables in the room, which I thought was really odd. It was too clean for me personally. It didn't look like kids had played there. The defendant has not yet entered a plea. She has a hearing scheduled for June the 7th. Jordan's attorney, Bernie McAvoy, did not immediately return Long Crime's request for comment. Okay? So now here we go to the autopsy. Now, that is the new thing to now. And it's like posting. Uh-oh. No. You don't either. Oh, it tried to stop me. I got to go back in there. I'm sorry. Go back in here, look up autopsy. I hate how that autopsy undetermined cause of death for baby found in illegal daycare. Neglect found alone in her Bellevue apartment. While in her care, one of those children, a 3-month-old baby, died. Authorities confirmed she wasn't licensed to run any kind of daycare. Got that paused right there. While in her care, one of those children, a 3-month-old baby, died. Authorities confirmed she wasn't licensed to run any kind of daycare. During Wednesday's hearing, Detective Christopher Berry stated that an autopsy had been completed, a determined cause, and a manner of death, and nothing positive on the toxicology reports. This is breaking news. We will update as more information comes in. But now, I will need to turn it to where you can actually hear the news report, so you will not be able to hear me again. All right.
Claim for your missing money in a matter of minutes.
Emotional Ann Jordan sitting before a judge for the first time today after being charged with 6 counts of child neglect. Police say she was operating an illegal daycare out of her Bellevue apartment where a 3-month-old was found dead. You'll remember parents showed up back on April 10th to pick their kids up, but Jordan was nowhere to be found. Police say 7 babies were left there all alone. Jordan was later found by hikers miles away at Harpeth River State Park, where police say she tried killing herself.
She stated that, if I recall correctly, that she quote unquote broke, and she decided that because this child can no longer be alive, that she felt that she can no longer be alive, and that she decided that she needed to leave the location to harm herself.
The Metro detective who you just heard from says an autopsy was done on that little baby's body, but the medical examiner was not able to determine an official cause of death. The case now heads to a grand jury.
The case now heads to a grand jury, so that's going to be interesting to find out what happens now. I think they're probably still waiting on the toxicology reports, maybe. Um, it don't make sense for all these people to trust her, but it's not their fault. It's no telling. You do hear me okay? Okay. Yep, it gets scary right here. Like I said, toxicology reports, I guess they said nothing showed positive, but they did say yet, if I'm not mistaken. But it is going to go before a grand jury. So no telling what other kind of things that they're going to find out. Um, she'll probably also get charged with running an unlicensed daycare center. And she could even possibly be charged with negligible homicide, I would say, for the fact that she was running an unlicensed daycare center. I would think that she could be charged with that since she was the one responsible. Um, yeah, she is in big trouble. Boy, it's not good at all. I hope the baby gets justice and these other kids get justice because seems to me like if it's too clean, when you got like 16 months toddlers around that love to walk around, it's like she probably kept the kids in their bassinets and in their beds all day. It was too immaculately clean. And like for that one lady to say that her child, was bleeding from diaper rashes. That was there. She said when she was afraid to make a report, she didn't have no evidence. That would have been evidence enough. Why didn't you go to take it to the hospital and say, look? Because if somebody else would have found the diaper rash that bad and was in your care and you did not report it, you could be the one charged and you could be the one blamed for all that. You need to put the blame on the proper people who are doing these to kids. They do not deserve to be around kids and watch the kids. This was very devastating. And to know how the parents were just wanting to use her temporarily, and this was the baby's first day? Horrid. It's horrendous. So when I find out more updates, I'll be sure to let y'all know. And y'all please pray for all the children involved. And pray that she does get justice, but she wants to cry out, look what happened to me, after I worked so hard to get to where I am to doing this job. Look where I am. I don't think it's fair. Excuse me? Not fair? Why do you think that they tell you to have license? Where you could crazy. The only reason why you went and tried to kill yourself was not just because a baby died, but because you knew that you were negligent in his home, in him dying. You did not. You probably left him in there too long without checking on him for one. You know, probably left him in there too long. Baby was probably hungry. Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. I hope and pray so. But she wants to put it out there that, like, look what all I worked for. This ain't fair that they strict me for not being able to watch kids again. Excuse me? Everybody else has to go through those type of things to get a license. Especially if you look at how many kids. And she was even breaking the law by, I think even if you had a license, you're not supposed to watch that many kids at one time. Look at how many, there were 7 under the age of 16 months. And as I agree, if you got that many kids right there and you're taking care of them, your place is not going to be immaculately clean if you're really right there taking care of the child. It just is the only thing it fits in that she's leaving the babies and the comforters and the playpens and the bassinets wherever. Poor kids, what all they endured in that short amount of time, just being in her house. Some people have said, but she's good. Um, Maybe they're a friend to her. Maybe they didn't have any other access to anybody at the time, and tried to trust her to say, "Do it," even if it was an accident. If the baby did just die, she did a runner, and that's a bad move. Exactly, exactly. If she would at least called and said, about that, and did not abandon the other kids. She did not just leave it. She would even notified and called 911, right? She did nothing. She abandoned all these other children. She left the door unlocked. You know how many child predators there could have been in the area that would have seen her leave and knew that all them babies were in there? So there could have been a child predator watching. Thank God there wasn't. Thank God nobody else went in there and tried to kidnap these babies. Thank God for that. Can you imagine the mother's devastating when she's trying to go get the kid? She's knocking, she's just thinking, why didn't she answer the door? If she knew what was behind that door, she would have just, she would have checked the door first off, trying to get in there, instead of waiting 15 minutes. I would think that it wouldn't have took me 15 minutes, I would have knocked, and I probably would have seen that the door was unlocked, go ahead, go in and say, hello, are you there? Something like that. A lot of it don't make sense. Don't want to think about that if the predators got in. Exactly. She left them open where predators could have got in and did these things and kidnapped these kids. She put them at great risk. Anything could have happened. Anything at all. What if there had been the apartment caught fire? Anything. No, another baby might have been choking, and gasping because, might have been choking and gasping. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes babies will choke on their own slobber sometimes. Sometimes you got to go in there and help them and roll them over and do these different things. But you put all these other kids in greater dire need where they could have easily died as well. And you didn't care. And I really think if she really was going to do suicide, that she had her medicine in the car, that would have been a quicker fix, you know? Wow. Very sucky. I'm just glad she did not die. I am glad that the parents will have justice. Yeah, exactly. No, and she don't think it's right. She thinks that for all that I worked for, why am I being done this way? With all that I did, I strove so hard to get to where I am, my career. Did it to herself, man. Even though I had children in my care, and I had kids at home, I should have did things, whatever. But I've always, and I told him, I said, well, I could do this for you as a friend. I could do this. And but I always notified the parents of any problems. I don't just leave the kid at home. I don't go and abandon the kids. I never did that. But I've got a lot of experience with child care as well too. But I was thankful that nothing bad ever happened. But it's like people just come to me, please do this for me, because I ain't got nobody else. Well, I did it, but acted responsibly. And they knew that I would not harm them, the kid. Finding somebody that they knew that to trust or something like that, I think that's what helped me with the situation of people were all the time wanting me to take care of kids. They knew how good I was with kids, how much I cared and loved about them and protected them, you know. But it's like, I don't need to do this, you know. Then they would convince me, please. But anyhow, that kid, we don't know how he died. I don't know if there's going to be any further tests that they can do, whether they could get somebody bigger that's more a better person for an autopsy that could further. I'm like, okay, SCSI, all them type of people, come on in there, step up. You know, yeah, the responsible. You would normally just call. You would normally just call anyway. You would say, hey, what was she really doing that she was afraid that she was going to get caught other than not having a license? You know, she going to get caught with all these other kids that she found, you know, that they knew that she probably wasn't taking proper care of too. That the rest of the kids were not being fed right and not being diapered right or not being cleaned right and all this other kind of stuff. What all was going on here that's these underlying things that's not coming out about this? These parents trusted this person. And granted, like I said, children do have things like SIDS or anything, but they still could not determine what this child's death was. No telling whatsoever what it was. Y'all, please pray that they find out the real cause of this children's death, and if it is her responsibility, that it becomes uncovered on what she had done wrong. The parents deserves answers. This child deserves answers. All the other parents deserve answers. Just know that there are people that genuinely care, will do anything to try to help stop this system of this happening to other children. You are right. Justice will be served. And I want to thank y'all. And when I find out more about this, when it goes into court, I will be sure to share that. And y'all feel free to share this as well. And I'll say, God bless each and every one of you. Thank you so much. You have a nice day.